Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I'd like to thank Congresswoman Letlow of Louisiana for introducing this important piece of legislation, and Chairwoman Fox for her steady and unwavering leadership, and who guided the Education Committee through a 16-hour debate ending in a 2:23 a.m. vote a few weeks ago to pass this out of committee. This bill ensures that parents stay at the center of educating their children, regardless of whether that education occurs at home or in a public school system or anywhere in between. Until we can get the federal government completely out of K-12 education, federal legislation shoring up the rights of parents is absolutely necessary. H.R. 5, known as the Parental Bill of Rights, will keep parents and families at the forefront of their child's educational journey. It will also strengthen those critical partnerships between engaged parents and willing educators. And the beneficiary of such partnerships will undoubtedly be the school children nationwide. For generations, our classrooms have been a sacred place, a place where children dig in to understand this world and how it works, where they discover their passions and the reason for their creation, and where they prepare for a lifetime of pursuing those passions. I know this firsthand because before I entered my legal career, I worked in a public school system for multiple years. I married a public educator, and about 9 years ago, I helped to start and run an education foundation that supports the fabulous teachers in my local public school district who teach with innovation and passion. Currently, I have 4 children donning the doors of that very school system, a choice my wife and I proudly make. But public classrooms should not be a place for advancing personal agendas or political propaganda. The role of our public educators is to educate, not to indoctrinate. And although the overwhelming majority of educators that I represent in East Texas thankfully understands this, it seems to me that in so many other corners of this country, many others have forgotten this, or perhaps they have just simply forsaken this on purpose. In either case, it requires action by this Congress to stand firmly with parents in their partnership with educators. Neither parents nor educators are the enemy. The enemy here is an unchecked system and political agenda that excludes one of those 2 essential parties necessary for the proper education of students, namely the parents. In 1925, the Supreme Court unanimously held that, quote, the parental right to guide one's child intellectually and religiously is a most substantial part of the liberty and freedom of a parent. So this concept is nothing new. We are talking about the fundamental rights of parents. Parents should be at the center of the education of their children, not the federal government. As a member of the House Committee on Education and the Workforce, I will continue to fight to keep the federal government out of our children's educational journey while working to increase the voice of our parents and families. As a member of that committee, I will also continue to applaud the dedicated work of so many educators in this country who have been doing the right thing by both parents and students for decades. For those educators in school districts, this legislation changes little. But for those who see parents as the enemy, this legislation changes much. Under this legislation, young and impressionable students will be safeguarded from propaganda and undue influence from those who should be educating, but who have instead chosen to deviate from this responsibility to pursue a political agenda. Nearly a century later, after the Supreme Court weighed in on this issue, I am proud to stand here in support of the Parental Bill of Rights, which will reinforce the fundamental rights of parents and guardians to make the decision that is best for their families and their children's academic career. I yield back. Thank you.